Unclench your jaw. Loosen your fists. Sit back and relax. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Hold for 5 seconds. Think about all the things that have been bothering you lately and exhale them out of your mind. Ready? Exhale. Let's begin. How to get rid of overthinking. If overthinking and excessive worrying are not addressed, they can cause distressing and restless feelings that can develop into anxiety or depression. Regaining control over your thoughts is the first step to finding peace. Your judgment becomes clouded and your stress level increases when you overthink something. You dwell on the bad things far too much. Acting on it can become challenging. Everybody occasionally overthinks their options or their lives. However, some people find it impossible to stop the train of thought from moving forward. Ruminating and worrying are the two main parts of this internal monologue. Ruminating. It usually involves regret, self-hatred, and self-blame. Rumination has been linked to the development of eating disorders, anxiety, and depression. People who are prone to these thought patterns might, for instance, overanalyze every little nuance of a relationship that ends. They are frequently overcome with self-blame and regret, thinking things like, "I should have been more patient and supportive. I have lost the most perfect partner ever. No one will ever love me again." Rumination can be harmful to your mental health because it can intensify or prolong depression and make it harder for you to think clearly and process your feelings. Additionally, it might make you feel alone and actually drive people away. The second type we have is worrying. Worrying is wanting to predict the future. It involves having pessimistic thoughts about potential outcomes. Doubts, fears, and worries are common aspects of life. It's normal to be anxious before important events like first dates, job interviews, and unpaid bills. But when worry is uncontrollable and persistent, it stops being normal and becomes excessive. You constantly worry about what-ifs, and you can't get worst-case scenarios and anxious thoughts out of your head. Like, what if they won't like me in the interview and they won't hire me? Or, other employers have not gotten back to me. How long will I be without a job? These thoughts are energy draining and distressing. Everyone who is under stress could experience them. But you should start acting when you realize that your worries and thoughts are keeping you from accomplishing your goals and living life to the fullest. If this feels like familiar territory to you, then here are 10 simple ideas to help you get rid of overthinking. Number 1. Awareness. Awareness is the beginning of change. Before you can begin to address or cope with your habit of overthinking, you must first learn to recognize your overthinking behavior when it occurs. Did you notice your thoughts as you sat across from your boss waiting for feedback on your performance? Did you notice a faster than usual heartbeat? Or did you hear the rhythmic tapping of your feet? Perhaps, perhaps not. Awareness is the state of consciousness, to put it simply. It indicates that an individual is aware of their own present moment thoughts, feelings, memories, actions, and sensations. When you start to doubt yourself or experience stress or anxiety, take a step back and assess the situation and your behavior. The seed of the change you want to make is there in that moment of awareness. Number 2. Positive thinking. Don't think of what can go wrong, but what can go right. Overthinking frequently results from one emotion: fear. It's simple to become paralyzed when you dwell on all the bad things that could possibly occur. When things in life aren't going our way, we begin to think about what else could go wrong. Due to a propensity for thinking negatively, it is impossible for us to concentrate on fixing problems. Therefore, you must train your mind to become excited about the potential positive outcomes in your life, rather than dwelling on all the negative ones. When you worry, your small problems often take on a larger impact, and you start to lose interest in solving them. It begins by generating minor nagging thoughts, which develop into a mental storm of unfavorable ideas over time. The majority of the things you are worried about won't actually happen. Therefore, make an effort to concentrate on putting more of your time and energy into the present. Pause for a moment the next time you feel yourself beginning to spiral in that direction. Think about all the positive things that could happen. Number 3. Distract yourself into happiness. It's normal to experience sadness at times in our lives, so we shouldn't try to talk ourselves out of it. Feeling depressed is normal and healthy if you have recently lost a loved one, are going through a breakup, have lost your job, or have experienced another traumatic life event. On the other hand, it's wise to seek out a qualified therapist or counselor to help you sort things out if you've been unhappy for a long time and don't know why, or if you suspect that you might be struggling with depression. Happiness, however, is a habit that many of us can work on developing. That's because the human brain is built to focus more on negative than positive thoughts as a result of evolution. Our inclination is to minimize the positive thoughts in our lives, so it is worth learning how to pay more attention to them. That causes us to be less happy than we ought to be. It can be useful to have means of diverting your attention to joyful, uplifting, and healthy alternatives. Activities like meditation, dancing, exercise, picking up an instrument, knitting, creating art, and painting can help you get enough distance from the problems to stop overanalyzing and overthinking. Number 4. Put things into perspective. Nothing in life may seem to matter at all when you're feeling stressed or overburdened. And everyone, regardless of age, background, or life experiences, is like that. The ability to maintain perspective and recognize that even difficult moments will pass is crucial for coping. Making something bigger and more negative than it needs to be is always simple. Ask yourself how much it will matter in 5 years the next time you catch yourself making a mountain out of a molehill, or even the following month. Simply asking this question and altering the time frame can help you to stop yourself from overthinking. Number 5. Stop waiting for perfection. This is a major issue. We can all stop waiting for perfection right now if we wish to. We frequently hold back from sharing who we are and what we do because we are afraid. We disguise it under the guise of perfectionism because it provides us with an apparently admirable and sound justification for not submitting the work. Being ambitious is wonderful, but striving for perfection is unattainable, unworkable, and damaging. When we are truly honest with ourselves, we know that it will never be perfect, so we are not waiting for it to be perfect. And this worry about not being perfect sets off a series of hypothetical scenarios. What if they disapprove of my work, dislike the presentation, reject me for the job, or I fail the test? You need to constantly remind yourself that progressing rather than waiting for perfection is always the smarter course of action. Number 6. Change your view of fear. Let's face it, we all realize that fear is the main reason why we worry. Fear that we'll make a mistake. Fear of failure. Fear of what our success might entail for our life if we do succeed. But courage is what we're really waiting for. For that bravery-inducing moment when we tell ourselves, I'm going to do this. This courage can only come from you. Nobody else has the authority to decide for you. Yes, other people can support and counsel you, which is why having a group of people who share your views nearby is so beneficial. However, the reality is that it is entirely up to you. It is only you who is capable of accomplishing the goal you've had in your mind for months or even years. Remember that just because something didn't work out before doesn't mean that has to be the result every time. This applies whether you're afraid because you failed in the past, afraid of trying, or afraid of generalizing some other failure. Keep in mind that every chance is a fresh start and an opportunity to start over. Number 7. Put a timer to work. Set a boundary for yourself. Give yourself 5 minutes to think, worry, and analyze by setting a timer. Spend the next 10 minutes with a pen and paper, listing all the things that are worrying you, stressing you out, or making you anxious after the timer goes off. Let loose. Throw the paper away and continue, preferably to something enjoyable, after the 10 minutes are up. Number 8. Realize you can't predict the future. No one can predict the future, we only have the present. You are robbing yourself of time now if you waste it worrying about the future in the present. Simply put, thinking about the future is a waste of time. Instead, spend that time doing enjoyable things. Number 9. Accept your best. Overthinking is frequently motivated by feelings of inadequacy, such as not being smart, hardworking, or dedicated enough. When you've put your all into something, accept it for what it is, and remember that even though success may depend in part on factors outside of your control, you've done what you could. Number 10. Be grateful. You can't have a regretful thought and a grateful thought at the same time, so why not spend the time thinking positively? Make a list of your blessings every morning and every evening. Get a gratitude buddy and trade lists so you can keep track of the positive things in your environment. Everyone has the potential to become overly analytical. However, if you have a great system for handling it, you can at least stop some of the pessimistic, anxious, and stressful thoughts and redirect them into something positive, advantageous, and effective. In the end, all we would say is, using mindfulness to stay focused on the present is a simple concept, but it takes time and regular practice to see positive results. At first, you'll probably find that your mind keeps going back to your negative thoughts, but try not to get frustrated. Each time you bring your focus back to the present, you are reinforcing a new mental habit that will help you break free of the cycle of overthinking. We would love to hear about the tips and tricks you use to stop yourself from overthinking. Please tell us about your journey in the comments. If you've stuck with us until now, then we would like to thank you. Please help us grow by hitting the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll be uploading more videos. Meanwhile, do check out our other videos. See you soon and take care of yourself.